Hello friends, today we are going to learn binary operations. Before you start watching this video, don't forget to subscribe my channel ISC Mathematics. Okay, now let us see what are binary operations. We are well aware of functions. In the earlier lectures we have seen what are functions. Now a function f from a to b is a rule or a method or a correspondence that associates each element of set A to a unique element in set B. Okay. Similarly, binary operation also represent a function. Let us consider a non-empty set A. Okay, let us see the definition. Okay, let S be a non-empty set. Okay, then a function f from S cross S to S is called a binary operation on set S. Remember that the domain over here is S cross S. So elements of the domain will be ordered pairs of the form A comma B, while the range will be a subset of S. Clear? So if asterisk is a binary operation defined on set S, then for all A comma B belongs to S cross S, f of A comma B belongs to S. So if we have one element A comma B in the domain, then its image is called f of A comma B, which belongs to S codomain. Clear? So this is a definition of the binary operation. Please note down this definition. Okay, generally the symbols used here, we use symbols like asterisk, O dot, O plus or O minus, okay, etc. to represent binary operations. Note down, afterwards we will see few examples of binary operations. I hope you have understood the definition well. Remember that binary operation is a function. If a binary operation is defined on any non-empty set S, then the domain is S cross S and the codomain is S. Clear? Okay, now let us see few examples of binary operations. Okay, now we know that addition and multiplication these are examples are binary on that is set of natural numbers, and Z, that is set of integers. Okay, addition and multiplication are binary. How would we know? So if you take any element from n cross n, suppose we are taking 2, 3, okay, then addition, if you take the addition, that is 2 plus 3 which is equal to 5, this belongs to n, which is codomain. Clear? So addition function, suppose f is represent addition function from n cross n to n, defined by a asterisk b is equals to a plus b. Okay, then 2, 3 belongs to n cross n. If you take, then 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Okay, we know that the sum of any two natural numbers will always be a natural number. So if you take any ordered pair from n cross n, the sum will be always natural. So it belongs to n, and therefore addition is binary. Similarly, multiplication is also binary, because when you multiply the two natural numbers, the product will again be a natural number. Clear? Okay, but subtraction is not binary. Remember, subtraction is not binary on set n. Okay, you can take the same example. If you take 2, 3, then 2 minus 3 will be equal to, you know, that minus 1, and minus 1 does not belong to n. Yes or no? Since for 2, 3 belongs to n cross n, 2 minus 3 is equals to minus 1, which does not belong to n, and therefore we will say that subtraction is not binary. But subtraction is binary on set of integers. Remember this. Okay, subtraction is binary on set of integers. Clear? Okay, so you can remember these examples. You can make a note of this. Other operations also you can think. For example, on division. Okay, so obviously division is not binary on n. Division is not binary on z, but division is binary on all the elements belongs to Q, set of rational numbers except 0. Yes or no? Because if 0 comes in denominator, then the answer is undefined, that does not belong to Q. Okay, and therefore for non-zero rational numbers, division is binary on Q. Okay, clear? I hope you have understood these examples. Now let us move further. Okay, now let us see the types of binary operations. Okay, commutative binary operations. Okay, let asterisk be a binary operation defined on a non-empty set S. Okay, so if A asterisk b is equals to b asterisk a for all a comma b belongs to S cross S. Okay, then we say that asterisk is commutative. Okay, we can consider few examples of commutative binary operations. Addition is commutative on the set of natural numbers. Similarly, addition is even commutative on the set of integers. Okay, so examples you can note down: addition and multiplication are commutative on n and z. N represents set of natural numbers and z represents set of integers. Okay, subtraction is not commutative. Okay, subtraction is not commutative on set of integers. Is it possible? If you take the subtraction, for example, 2 minus 3 and 3 minus 2, both are different. Okay, and therefore it is not commutative on set of integers. Clear? Okay, you can think about multiplication. On set of natural numbers, multiplication is commutative, and on set of integers also that we have discussed, that multiplication is also commutative. Clear? Now let us move further. We will see the another type. Commutative binary operations are, now we know, okay, that if a asterisk b is equals to b asterisk a, where asterisk is a binary operation defined on a non-empty set S. If this condition is satisfied, then the operation is binary, otherwise not. Okay, now let us see the associative. Associative binary operations a binary operation asterisk defined on a non-empty set S is associative if A asterisk B asterisk C is equals to A asterisk B asterisk C for all A, B and C belongs to S. Clear? So this is the condition for associativity. Obviously addition and multiplication are associative on a set of integers. Clear? Addition is even associative on set of natural numbers. Let us write and note down few example. Addition is associative on set n, which is set of integers. Similarly, okay, addition and multiplication, okay, both are associative. Addition and you can note down multiplication are associative. These both are associative on set n and set z. On set of integers also both the operations are associative. Subtraction is associative on set z. On set of integers, subtraction is associative. I hope you have understood associativity. Now let us see the distributive binary operation. Distributive binary operation okay. Let us consider here two different operations, asterisk and say O dot be two binary operations defined on a non-empty set S. Okay, then operation asterisk or a binary operation asterisk is distributive over a binary operation denoted by O dot if A asterisk B O dot C is equal to A asterisk B O dot A asterisk C for all A, B and C belongs to set S. Here, so obviously we know that multiplication is distributive over addition. Yes or no? In the case of integers and natural numbers. Clear? So if n or z are the given sets, then multiplication is distributive on over addition. Clear? Please note down. You may note down the example. If okay, that multiplication is distributive over addition. Clear? Okay, after you have completed distributive binary operation, so far we have seen three types. Starting from commutative binary operation, then associative and now distributive. Now let us see the identity element. What is an identity element? Identity element. Okay, if asterisk is a binary operation defined on a non-empty set S, okay, then for all A belongs to set S, there exists an element E belongs to S such that A asterisk E is equals to A is equals to E asterisk A. Okay, so if you have an element E in S such that A asterisk E or E asterisk A both are equal to A, then we will say that E is called the identity element. Clear? Okay. Then there exists, then for all A belongs to S, there exists an element E such that A asterisk E is equals to A is equals to E asterisk A. Here E is called the identity element of a given binary operation hashtag. Clear? For example, let A asterisk B be defined by A plus B or addition, okay, for all A B belongs to Z. Okay, this operation is given, means in short, by this we mean that addition on set of integers. Clear? So obviously we know that A plus 0 is equal to A is equal to 0 plus A for all A belongs to Z. Yes or no? So we have 0, which when added to any integer, our answer will be the same integer, and therefore we can write that 0 is identity element for addition on Z. Okay, when addition is defined on Z set of integers. But what if addition is defined on N? In place of Z, if you take suppose N, then is it possible to have any identity element thing? Is it possible? No, it is not possible, because if you take here natural numbers, then you don't have any natural number which when added to the given natural number will give the same natural number. Clear? And therefore when addition is defined on set of natural numbers, you don't have, there does not exist any identity element. But when addition is defined on Z, okay, we have an identity element which is 0. Okay, in multiplication, if multiplication is defined on N set of natural numbers, then we have an identity element that is 1. Because a natural number, when any natural number multiplied with 1 will give you the same natural number as the answer, and therefore 1 is the identity element for multiplication on set of natural numbers. Clear? Similarly, on set of integers also 1 is the identity element for multiplication. Clear? Please note down. So I hope you understood what is an identity element. Remember this definition, which will be very much useful in calculating the identity element or finding the value of E. Clear? Now let us see the invertibility of an element or inverse. Okay. to understand the invertibility, let us consider a binary operation asterisk. Okay, let asterisk be a binary operation defined on a non-empty set S. Okay, then for all A belongs to S, if there exists an element B belongs to S such that A asterisk B is equal to E is equals to B asterisk A. Okay, provided that E exists. Okay, because it may happen it does not exist. Yes or no? For example, just we have seen in case of addition defined on set of natural numbers, it does not exist. Okay, so if E exists, in that case we have to consider. Okay, for all A belongs to S, there exists B belongs to S such that. Okay, rather than writing for all, here we will write for every or for each A belongs to S, there exists an element B belongs to S such that A asterisk B is equals to E is equals to B asterisk A. Then we say that A is an invertible element, or A is invertible, and B is called its inverse. Clear? I hope you have understood this. Let us try to understand this with the help of one example. Okay, now let us take one example to understand this invertibility. Okay, let asterisk be a binary operation defined by A asterisk B is equals to AB by 2. Okay, on set S. Clear? So let us find out the inverse. First of all, we will find out the identity element. So we know that A asterisk E is equal to A is equal to E asterisk A. Therefore, A asterisk E is equals to A. Therefore, putting the value in this formula, we get A by 2 is equals to A, implies E is equal to, we will get 2. So we got the identity element. Now we can calculate the inverse of the element. Okay, now, okay, we have just seen the definition of the invertibility. According to that, E asterisk B will be equal to E is equal to B asterisk A. So A asterisk B will be equal to E. Okay, now put the formula. A asterisk B is given by A B by 2 is equals to E is 2. Clear? And therefore B is equals to 2 to the 4 upon A we will get. Clear? Where here B is equals to 4 by 8 is called the inverse element of element A. Please note down. Let us summarize the topics which we have studied so far. In the beginning we have seen the definition, which is very much important. Okay, what is the definition? That a binary operation is a function. Suppose if S is a given non-empty set, then the binary operation is a function from S cross S to S. In short, binary operation is a function, so it has a domain and a codomain. Okay, and the elements domain as the elements in the form of ordered pairs, because domain we are taking S by S. Yes or no? So we will have ordered pair as the elements. Okay, and the range will be a single element. Remember, because it belongs to S. Clear? Then we saw the types: commutative, associative and distributive. Okay, after that we have seen the identity element, how to find the identity element. Okay, and invertibility, or the inverse of an element. What is an inverse and how to find the inverse of element if it exists. Clear? Now let us see how to prepare a composition table. Okay, now you can explain whole binary operation provided that it is defined on a finite set. Okay, so for that we have to take first finite set. Let S be any finite set, non-empty finite set. Okay, then the binary operation, whole binary operation can be explained with the help of a composition table. Clear? Suppose S contains, let S contains n elements A1, A2, A3, AI, AJ and AN. Clear? If a set S contains n elements starting from A1 to AN, then we can prepare a composition table, and then on the basis of that we can explain the whole binary operation. Okay, let us see how to prepare first the composition table. Okay, binary operation is defined by asterisk, or asterisk is the binary operation. Okay, so in order to prepare a composition table, on the topmost and the leftmost column we are going to write these elements. We are going to make these entries from A1 to AN. Okay, so let me first make here the operation A asterisk B. We will write down. Okay, and in the leftmost column we are going to write these elements like A1, A2, similarly AI, then we have AR, AJ, and finally we will have AN. Okay, and in the same way A1, A2, the topmost row, then we will have AI, then we will have AJ, and then we will have AN. First we make the entries like this. Okay, now in order to write the elements, we will take this operation A asterisk B like this, column 2 rows. So we will write A1 asterisk A1, then A1 asterisk A2, similarly A1 asterisk AI, okay, and here A1 asterisk AJ and A1 asterisk AN. These all entries we put in this way. Okay, now how you will write the entries in the second third row? So A2 A1, A2 asterisk A1, A2 asterisk A2, then A2 asterisk AI, A2 asterisk AJ. Similarly, last will be A2 asterisk AN. Clear? And in the same way we will proceed. Okay, so ith, when ith row comes, then we will write AI asterisk A1, AI asterisk A2, AI asterisk AI, AI asterisk AJ, AI asterisk AN, and in the same manner jth row and then nth row you can enter AN asterisk A1, AN asterisk A2, AN asterisk AI, AN asterisk AJ, AN asterisk AN. We will let us put the entries for the jth row. AJ asterisk A1, AJ asterisk A2, AJ asterisk AI, AJ asterisk AJ, and AJ asterisk AN. Clear? So all the entries are made in this way. Okay, now how will you determine that whether this is commutative or associative identity element, how to find, and how to find the whether the inverse exists or not, and if exists, how to find the inverse of an element. That we will see, that we will try to understand with. Okay, now let us try to understand this composition table with the help of example. Let set S containing elements 1, omega and omega square. We have to construct the composition table. The composition table for multiplication. Okay, now let us first construct the composition table. So here the operation A asterisk B is defined by A multiplied by B. So in the leftmost column we will write down these elements 1 omega, omega square. Similarly in the topmost row 1 omega and omega square. Okay, now let us write down the answers. Okay, 1 multiplied by 1 is equal to 1. 1 multiplied by omega, omega 1 multiplied by omega square, that is omega square. Again, second row, omega into 1, omega, omega into omega, omega square, and omega into omega square is omega cube. In the third row, omega square into 1, omega square into omega, that is omega cube, and value of omega cube is 1. So here also in case of omega cube, let us put its value, that is 1. Okay, again omega square into omega square, that is equal to omega square into omega square is equal to omega raised to 4, that is equals to omega cube into omega. Now value of omega cube is 1, so 1 into omega is equal us check whether multiplication is binary on set S or not. Yes or no? So the first property is called we can also sometimes it is also called closure property. Okay, so let us check how we will find out whether the multiplication is closed in S or not, or the multiplication is a binary operation defined on S or not. Okay, in order to check this, remember the steps. Number one, we will check that the table, this composition table, involves all the elements of S. Yes or no? So there is no other element which is not in S. All the elements which are contained in this composition table belong to S. Number one. Okay, and number two, each row and each column, in each row and each column, each element comes only once. Yes or no? Each element occurs one and only one time in each row and each column. So these two facts you should remember. Okay, to check whether this is binary or not. So we will write down here. Obviously, multiplication is binary on S. Why? Because each entry, number one, because each element of table, each element contained in the table belongs to S, and number two, each element occurs one and only one time in each row and each column. Okay, each element occurs one and only one time in each row and each column. So if these two properties are satisfied, then we can say that the operation is binary or multiplication is closed under set S. Clear? So make a note of this. Okay, after this you have understood how to check whether the given operation is binary from the composition table. Now we will check the second property, that is commutativity. Commutativity. Okay, in order to check commutativity, okay, just look at the leading diagonal or principal diagonal. The diagonal starting from the left top and ending to the right bottom is the leading diagonal. Okay, now each entry in the composition table is symmetric with respect to this diagonal. You will see the symmetric entries 1 1 omega 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 square 1 and omega square 1. So each entry is symmetric with respect to the leading diagonal. Okay, so if so, then we will say that the binary operation is commutative. Clear? So if each entry in the composition table is symmetric with respect to leading diagonal, then the binary operation is commutative. Yes or no? So here obviously multiplication is commutative, therefore here multiplication is commutative in set S. Understood? Once again, you have to check each entry with respect to the leading diagonal. You notice that each entry is symmetric. Clear? And therefore, we can say that multiplication is commutative. Now next, that is identity element. From the composition table we can find out the identity element. How? Okay, identity element. Okay, in order to find identity element, first we have to find out the row which coincides with the topmost row. So look at the rows, you have 3 rows other than the topmost row. Okay, so you will notice that the first row coincides with the topmost row. Okay, so step number 1, find the row coinciding with the topmost row. Okay, number 1, step number 1. Then you will find the column which is coinciding with the leftmost column. So here you will notice that the first column other than the topmost one, this coincides with the leftmost column. Okay, so second step is to find the column coinciding with the leftmost column. Okay, now we have the row, that is the first row, and we have the first column. Now find out the element which is common to this row and column. Obviously it is 1. You will notice that it is 1, and therefore 1 is the identity element. Okay, so third step is to find the element common to both row and column. Okay, it is the identity element. So in this case 1 is the identity element. Okay, here 1 is the identity element. So I hope you have understood finding the identity element. Let us repeat. You will find out a row which is coinciding with the topmost row. Then you will find out the column which is coinciding with the leftmost column, and then from the obtained row and column we will find out the element which is common to both. That is our identity element. Clear? So in this case 1 is the identity element. Okay, now the fourth one, if identity element exists, then inverse also exists. Okay. Now number 4, inverse of an element. whether the identity element is occurring in each row and column or not. So you notice that one is present in each row and each column. It means each element have its identity element, yes or no? So here we will check, or if the identity element is present in each row and each column, then every element has an or has its identity or its inverse element. Clear? Okay, now we have to find the inverse. So it is quite easy. If you want to find the inverse of 1, okay, check that obviously when 1 is operated with 1, you get the identity. Yes or no? Or in other words, remember like this, if you want to find the identity element of 1, then look along the row, okay, where the identity element lies. Clear? So corresponding element present in the row is your inverse element. Clear? So the inverse element of 1 is 1. So here inverse element of 1 is 1. Similarly, we can find out the inverse element for omega. Now look along the row, second row, the identity element lies in the third column. So corresponding element is omega square. It means the inverse of omega is omega square. Inverse of omega is omega square. And finally, if looking along the third row, we have identity element lying in the second column. Okay, and corresponding element is omega. So omega, inverse of omega square is omega, we will write. Therefore, inverse of omega square is omega. So I hope it is quite easy to find the inverse element for a given element from the composition table. You have understood well. Clear? So with this, the explanation of the binary operations is over. And now in the next video we will see the exercise based on the binary operation. Thank you very much.